There's a restaurant chain that their motto was, I don't know if they still use it, but when you're here, you're family. I think it's the Olive Garden. And that just sounds so welcoming, so inviting, to be family, especially a big Italian family. You think of the warmth of the home and the food and all the wonderful things there. But other groups use that thing too. When I worked at the University of Notre Dame, we talked about the Notre Dame family. When I was at a parish in Colorado, we talked about the Sacred Heart family. And it's a wonderful image, this image of family, where you're welcomed and included and invited to be there. That is, until you get your pink slip and you're asked to leave, or until some conflict comes up and you're not a member of that family anymore. I suspect lots of businesses and corporations use that image of family, but it doesn't always hold out well when you're let go. It's a difficult idea, this family, because sometimes we take it way too seriously in bad ways. As warm and as welcoming as the Italian family of the Olive Garden is to come in and sit down, we've also seen enough mafia movies to know that there's some negative sides to this family. And if you're on the other side of the family, you better watch out. The Hatfields and the McCoys, clans in the Middle East and in other countries. The family often means drawing lines of who's in and who's out. And if you're in, that's fine. But if you're out, you better watch yourself. We have to struggle with what that means, being a family. We read in the letter from Paul today, these wonderful directives of what you're supposed to do as a family. Wives, be subordinate to husbands. Husbands, love your wives. Children, obey your parents. Fathers, don't provoke your kids. Compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience. It's all very sweet. But it also reminds me of the basic rule of stop signs. Why are there stop signs? Because sometimes people don't stop. And they need a sign that says, don't go anymore because there's other traffic coming. Why are there rules against stealing? Why are there laws against murder? Because people do them. And so when you read Paul's letter and he's telling you, hey, be patient, it means many of the people are not patient. It says, be compassionate. Paul finds people not being compassionate. He finds husbands not loving their wives, children not obeying their parents. And he's coming in and he's setting up these rules. This is what you should do. And the only reason they have rules at all is because sometimes we don't act that way. And we need the rules to do it. We need sort of a guide. We need a model. And this is one of the reasons why I think the church holds up the Holy Family. Not because every family is perfect and beautiful and wonderful and we want to celebrate it, but it's because sometimes we're not. And we have to be reminded of the example of Joseph and Mary and Jesus, who were compassionate, loving, kind, patient. They lived that out. In fact, the story we read in the gospel, we see some dysfunctional family. King Herod is supposed to be the good father, the protector of the people of Israel. That's the role. If you're the anointed one of Israel, you should be caring for the people. But he threatened the life of his own citizens. And Joseph took his family and left the country because the father of their country was not being a good father. And so Joseph, Mary, and Jesus left. We have that same problem in our own country today. Who is in? who is out, and our leaders, our father figures, if you would, careful to protect all the citizens in our country. And we find out that that's currently not the case, that some of the children, the citizens of this country, are not being cared for, are not being protected, and in fact are being abducted and sent off. We are failing as a family in this country to care for each other. We are failing as a culture to care for those most in need, the hungry, the homeless, the mentally ill, those in need of protection and care. We're not being good parents to all of our citizens. And so we need this reminder of Joseph, and Mary, and Jesus. We need this image of the Olive Garden, that you should be family. When you're here, you should be part of the group. That's the wonderful thing I think about the Roman Catholic Church, and not to say anything ill of other traditions, but you don't need to learn Latin anymore to be a good Roman Catholic. Perhaps if you're going to be a Greek Orthodox or Russian Orthodox, you need to learn those languages to participate in the liturgies. But in our Roman tradition, even if you go to a Catholic Mass anywhere in the world and you don't speak the language, you still know what's going on in the Mass. You may not understand the homily, but you'll know when to stand, when to sit, and what the priest is doing, and what the people around you are doing, and how they're praying. Because we see our church as a family that should be inclusive and welcoming. And that's how we should be with each other. There should not be Hatfields and McCoys, insiders and outsiders. We should be welcoming. We should be patient. We should be compassionate. We should be forgiving. We should love one another.